Presented by Horns and Hooves Entertainment. You're watching Bob Hansen, Tom Uchek, Sean O'Malley, Adam Fitzgerald, and Andy Van Meer. You still up? Live. It's Buffalo After Dark.
What's up, guys? Your host Buffalo Bob again, and I am here taking over for three people tonight. I am taking over for Adam, Tom, and Andy because Tom is like, oh, I have to do some stuff on my job tonight. I'm going to a golf tournament. Yeah. And Adam doesn't know where he is, and Andy is just missing. So I'm taking over, and I have my co-host tonight. I got Sean O'Malley with me tonight. How are you?
Doing good, man. Just got out of work. I'm a little tired, but I'm ready to go.
Yeah, damn straight. So before we begin, how was your 4th of July?
Yeah, it was all right. Didn't really do much. It was good. So
Yeah, so
how was yours?
Mine was okay. I actually went out east in Suffolk County here on Long Island. Went to see a couple of my buddies. And then right after that, I came home and me and my fiance had a few drinks and we got to watch the fireworks.
Nice. Yeah, I saw a few fireworks in my freaking window.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, kids.
Well, I was gonna say, do any of your neighbors do it? Like, do they ever put up fireworks and be like, "Hey, come on over. We have some fireworks to show."
No, they just shoot fireworks from out of nowhere.
They just kind of just come out of nowhere and you're like, pew, pew, and you just hear them for all night. Like, my dog is literally terrified of fireworks and thunderstorms. And we actually had a massive thunderstorm earlier here today, and it was just loud thunder just coming in from everywhere. So it was pretty scary for the most part for my dog. And he's old age too. He's like 10 or 11, but he doesn't like it very much. And I don't blame him one bit, to be honest. But that's just how it is. And same could be said about fireworks.
Yeah, I'm actually going through a thunderstorm right now. Just heard thunder out there.
Oh, there you go. I just got out of my situation with a thunderstorm a little bit, actually, which is really ironic. Yeah, so, all right. So just like any other week, we have some stuff to talk about. And there's been a lot of rumors about the Sabres this past weekend. We have a tragic story to tell this week about freaking what's-his-face, Matiss Kivilenieks, who died at the age of 24 over the week. And we have some football news that we have to cover. And there's a lot that's been broken down, and we're going to get right down to it. So I guess from the post part, we'll talk before the hockey stuff first, just to kind of get it over with. So let's get going. So, yeah, so there's a lot of information coming out this week about the Seattle Kraken. And believe it or not, we're actually 2 weeks away from the draft. Would you believe that? Yeah, the Wi-Fi is down for him over there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you got cut off a little bit. When you what did you say?
I'm saying, time flies by quick, but I'm looking forward to the draft.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's in 2 weeks, so there's a lot of rumors now about the Seattle Kraken coming up. And one of the rumors, according to the Fourth Period, which is a very reliable source for hockey information, there are now reports coming out. Speaking of the Kraken, they are one of the 6 to 7 finalists for Jack Eichel. Would you believe it?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's the Kraken, the Panthers, the Blue Jackets, the Golden Knights, the Wild, the Rangers, the Flames, the Kings, and the Ducks are all in contention for Jack Eichel.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if he went to Seattle? Oh, man.
God. They would have a budding superstar in the making already. Especially with an expansion team. Holy crap. That would literally just make heads spin over in Seattle. And I think he would sell really well with jerseys. In terms of the marketing over there, I think would certainly benefit him too. So.
Oh, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot.
Without question. And then over the week as well is that there has to have been talks about the Sabres lately. And the Sabres have been linked to Arizona Coyotes goalie Darcy Kemper, who could be available for trade, as well as Columbus Blue Jackets goaltender Elvis Merzlikins. And both of these goalies are connected to Buffalo and trade talks. So the Sabres are in discussion for a goalie this year. And it seems like to me they're going to be upgrading possibly, if not one, maybe both goalies. Let Omar walk in the offseason in a couple of weeks, and then pick up someone else. So let Carter Hutton walk, which he's done nothing. So let him go. So there's a lot to be talking about here now that the Stanley Cup Finals is officially over. And speaking of the finals, the buyout window opens tomorrow night, which has been said whenever the date of the Stanley Cup Finals is over, which was yesterday because the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Cup in back-to-back years. And now the window is now open for buyouts. Yeah, so what do you think of all about that, about the Tampa Bay Lightning winning back-to-back Stanley Cups?
What's there to say, man? I mean, they're good.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? They are legitimately stacked. Yeah. Oh, great. My internet is not stable because it's like I got one half of your sentence and then went to like this like this. That's pretty much what happened. I hate my Wi-Fi, Matt. I really do. I absolutely hate my Wi-Fi.
I was saying that I mean, there's not really much to say about the Lightning winning their second straight Stanley Cup. They're just that good right now, and who knows? This might turn into a dynasty for this decade or so. Who knows?
Well,
they'll become the New England Patriots in the NHL.
Well, you know what? It's funny you said that because a few handful of people who I've talked to in the last couple of days, or maybe 24 hours after they won the Cup, some people have told me already that they firmly believe that the Bolts could go for a three-peat. Some people really believe this.
Well, I mean, with the way with the way they've been playing, and who knows?
Absolutely. And you know what's really more ironic is the comparisons I've been seeing of the situation is I've heard people say that if the Bolts were to go for a three-peat next year, no matter, because next year it's going to be looking like the same scheduling and whatever, is I've heard people tell me that this could be the biggest like three-peat since the early 90s Chicago Bulls.
Oh boy.
Yeah, could you imagine being compared to the Jordan Bulls?
Wow, that big, huh?
Could you imagine just could you imagine just like the comparison of the two bodies? Like literally, you're being almost compared to the early 90s Chicago Bulls when they won their first 3 championships with Jordan and Pippen and all those guys. And that's the only thing. I'm not a basketball person, but I know who those people are. But I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning could be in the same conversation if they win it again next year. It's very possible.
It definitely is, and to even be, I mean, to even be compared to that team, that's just a lot. I mean, it really does.
The only thing I will say that the Bolts will never do is they will never go, what was it, 78-9 or whatever that record was by the 73-9 or whatever it was that the Bulls had where the Warriors broke a few years ago.
Why? Please, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I
just
can hear you.
With us.
Yeah, I know. You have a storm going on there. Yeah, the bandwidth, I can sense why your bandwidth is low because of a thunderstorm. I get it.
Yeah, that could be that could be the reason.
Yeah, the same thing was over here for me is my Wi-Fi was a similar way earlier. Is because of the Wi-Fi. It's probably going to go away in probably like 20 minutes anyway, so you might be feeling better afterwards. Because I just went through this a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but just bear with us, okay?
Yeah, please. Yes, please. That would make us feel better. Just bear with us. His Wi-Fi is bad. My Wi-Fi is pretty bad. We're both in a pretty crappy situation with a thunderstorm of all places. That's why I hate the summer sometimes, because they always, just come out of nowhere and they'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna set up. Oh, you have an event going on? Let me just put a big ass thunderstorm in the middle of all this."
Right? Yeah, I got my personal reasons for hating summer, so I'm just leave it there.
Yeah, definitely. So in the process of all this, so let's move on. So once again, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Lightning on winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. So now here's something really interesting from ESPN 102.5 Nashville, and this is what was being linked. They said, in quote, Nashville Predators GM David Poile talks about an expansion draft plans, and I quote, ideally, if we could strike a deal with the Seattle Kraken to determine a certain player who we lose to an expansion, I'd like to do that. So, in other words, it's very strong. It's a very strong possibility that the Predators and the Kraken could be completing a side deal to avoid a player being taken from Nashville to go to Seattle. It's very possible.
Yeah, it is. I'd like to see it.
Absolutely. But I'm curious who they give up, though, because the Predators from a week ago traded Victor Arvidsson to the LA Kings. And there was a leaked document that, because I have another friend that's not on the show who lives in Seattle, told me that there was a document that got leaked out that basically said that the Kraken were going to take Victor Arvidsson in the expansion draft, and the Kraken were going to try to say, hey, we'd like to make a deal for Arvidsson. But, of course, the Predators had different plans, and they ended up trading him to the LA Kings instead. So now the list is wide open on Nashville's end for Seattle to pick from. It could be Matt Duchene. It could be Ryan Johansson. It could be Mattias Ekholm. It could be any of those players. It could be Pekka Rinne for all we care, is the fact that he's a pending UFA in a couple of weeks. But I don't see Seattle taking him on, though. But, again, Nashville might have a side deal in the works with Seattle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who the Kraken's going to take from Nashville.
Absolutely. But again, I think every player that they're going to take is pretty interesting. And speaking of the Kraken, because we're on this topic once more, there's actually been more discussion about possible leaked information of who the Kraken could take. But this time it's from the New York Islanders, because I'm from the island. So there's been talks that the Islanders are leaving either Jordan Eberle exposed or defenseman Nick Leddy exposed, and one of the two could end up getting taken by Seattle. Mm-hmm. And just coming from here locally, I've spoke to a lot of Islanders fans, and most of them have very split opinions about this piece of news. And that is that one party says get rid of Leddy, another party says get rid of Eberle. So it's either way. If you look at their contracts, which I'll bring up in a sec, because both of these players, I believe, are under a certain amount of time on their cap friendly. So let me take a look for you real quick, because both these contracts are under players are on the contract until I think 2022. I could be wrong, but I know Eberle got an extension a couple of years ago with the Islanders, and Leddy has one more year left on his contract. So let's see. Jordan Eberle, he has 3 more years at $5.5 million, and he will not be a UFA until 2024. Nick Leddy has 1 year left on his current deal for $5.5 million as well, and he's a free agent in 2022. So if you had to take between the two, between Jordan Eberle and Nick Leddy and Jordan Eberle, who would you take between the two?
Between the two, I'd probably take Nick Eberle.
You would probably take Jordan Eberle? All right.
Yeah.
Thornebly, yeah.
Still learning, people. I'm still learning the names, okay?
It's okay. You know, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
So that's that. So while we're on the topic of the Kraken have also hired 2 assistant coaches. One is Jay Leach, who was the head coach of the Providence Bruins for the last 4 years. He's now a assistant coach under Dave Haxtell's staff for their inaugural season for the Seattle Kraken. And on top of all that, the Seattle Kraken have also hired Paul McFarland as an assistant coach as well. He was an assistant coach for the Florida Panthers and for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he was coaching in the OHL with Kingston. So he's got a pretty decent resume for developing young players. So what do you think of the 2 coaches now being brought in by the Kraken to help out Dave Haxtell?
Well, I mean, I like it. I'm being a little biased because I'm transitioning into a Kraken fan, but yeah, I like it. But if Adam were here, he'd probably say the opposite.
He probably would, but I guess we'll see how these guys plan out together because, you know, there's a lot to look forward to for the Kraken. And plus, you know what I mean? Because NBC is no longer partnering with the NHL because their contract ended yesterday, right after the game. And ESPN will be taking on the NHL for the next 10 years. So that's going to be fun. And the first broadcast, and the first broadcast will be on ESPN2, which will be the Seattle Kraken expansion draft. Yeah, so keep an eye out.
Don't they have? I was just going to ask. Doesn't the NHL have a deal with the USA Network now, or something like that?
USA, I'm not sure. I have to look into it. I know for a fact that they have a deal with ABC and ESPN and ESPN2, and I also know they have a deal with TNT.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I thought I read somewhere that it had a deal with USA also, but hey, I could be wrong.
I mean, they do. Yeah, I mean, I know they broadcast games on USA TV, but like, I don't know if that was part of the NBC deal or not. I'm not really sure. I had to look it up. But if they can still keep USA around, I think that's even better. But I'm not sure what the plan is for that. But they definitely have enough exposure going in for the next 10 years. And I hope to God they don't butcher it because I think they have a great opportunity. They're setting themselves up to have success with former NHL players and diversity players coming in. So it's going to be very interesting how they can pretty much, you know, lure the general audience to come. That's going to be really interesting, especially with all the moves that's being made with, you know, if you remember on the night of, I told you the Kraken jersey I sent you a month ago, just about. Remember that conversation where we were talking about how they had the deal with ESPN and all those partnerships, and then you were like so dumbfounded about the fact that I got you a Seattle Kraken jersey?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and I remember
clear as day.
Yeah. By the way, I'm curious. I know you got the USA flag up and all that stuff, but I'm curious. Where's the Kraken flag?
I'm gonna hang that back up when hockey season starts.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's like in what is it, July? So like basically 3 months. Yeah. That's coming right back up soon. Or for the expansion draft in 2 weeks. That works too. What was I gonna say?
That too.
Yep. And so over the week, we actually have some really tragic news. Is on the 4th of July, Columbus Blue Jackets goaltender Matiss Kivilenieks has died over the age of 24. And apparently the coroner's report came out and has said that it has been confirmed as an accident in which the cause of death was fireworks mortar blast, and it was a trauma to the chest, and it was not a head injury because the original report was he jumped out of a bathtub and slipped and hit his head on the concrete, which turned out to be false. So there was issues with fireworks going on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, everybody's been talking about this.
Jeez Louise, man. What? I don't know. I feel like every 4th of July there's some kind of freak accident related to fireworks. I mean, we had We had freaking Jason Pierre-Paul blow up his hand because of fireworks. Now this. My condolences to his family. But oh geez, this is kind of why I hesitated getting fireworks, because oh boy.
Yeah, fireworks are not the best idea to get, especially if you don't know what you're doing. But no, but you know what? It was an accident, so it's not like you could say, "Oh, he died on purpose." You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's really sad what happened.
I'm just saying, like, stuff like this, accidents or something like that related to fireworks. It's unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah. So, and on Monday when the news broke out, I actually sent out a little post on our Facebook page over at Hearts and Hooves Entertainment, and I sent out a little thing that says, rest in peace to Matiss Kivilenieks. And I wrote a little prayer from the Bible, and I just kind of put together, and I got a handful of comments on there. So, I would say though, it's really sad. I mean, usually when players die, specifically in the modern NHL, and specifically at such a young age, or active players in the NHL, it's usually really, really sad. I mean, alumni are a little different because you kind of expect it to happen. But when a player is active in the NHL, those are rare these days. But for a guy like Kivlenieks to die is really, really sad. And a lot of Columbus Blue Jackets fans said that he had a bright future, and he was at the point where he could potentially be a starting goalie in the NHL. And unfortunately, we're never going to be able to see it.
Yeah, it's just again, my thoughts and prayers to his family and friends.
Absolutely, and may he rest in peace for sure. Absolutely, yeah. Sending out my prayers to his family. So moving on. So according to a website who I don't often trust by the name of NHL Rumors Daily, they're not the most accurate reporters, but I've seen this multiple places now. And supposedly, we already know about the Jack Eichel story going around, right? About him possibly being traded out of Buffalo to go somewhere else. Well, it turns out that if the Sabres do end up getting another top 10 pick in the first round in the upcoming draft in 2 weeks, there's been speculation that it would be very surprised, in quote, according to these guys, NHL Rumors Daily, that it would be very surprising that if the Buffalo Sabres didn't leave July without, I'm reading this wrongly. Let me read this to you. So NHL Rumors Daily would be very surprised if the Sabres leave July 23rd's draft without highly talented prospect William Eklund. And Eklund is projected to be a top 10 player in the first round in the upcoming draft. And who holds the first overall pick? Buffalo. And who could possibly get another pick in the top 10? Buffalo. So there's a possibility Buffalo can walk away with not one, but two top 10 prospects in the upcoming draft. And he's been compared to Carolina Hurricanes forward Sebastian Aho, who's a freaking animal. But, and if he were to be drafted, no matter who takes him, whether it's Buffalo, whether it's Anaheim, or anybody else, he's basically saying, I want to go back over to the Swedish Hockey League and play there for one more year so I can develop my skills in terms of skating ability and stick ability and just be a better all-around player.
I like that approach. He wants to be, he wants to be at the top of his game when he makes his NHL debut. So yeah, I respect him for that.
Absolutely. And he's projected to talk to Buffalo this week. I think today, actually. I think they're supposed to meet today. And they have a meeting tomorrow with Michigan's Owen Power tomorrow on this week. So overall, Buffalo, I think, is really taking their time on who they want to take in the draft. So, and there's no guarantee who goes first overall this year. So they may as well just smokescreen everybody and say, oh, Power can go first overall, or Matthew Beniers can go first overall. It doesn't matter. It's basically like this. You just throw the dart at the board and you just hope you get what you want. That's basically this draft in a nutshell, because nobody played in the juniors this year because of the pandemic. Nobody.
Right.
So, yeah, and it's going to be just really difficult for these people to really make an adjustment to into the pros. depending on their scouting ability. So that's all they could really add on here. So, what was I going to say? Oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention this too, is that a Jack Eichel trade will not happen until after the Seattle Kraken expansion draft, and the likely frontrunner are the Vegas Golden Knights. Mm-hmm. Think about that. Think about that. Vegas, they went to the conference finals 3 in the last 4 years, and they're trying to get over the hump to win the Stanley Cup. And you add a guy like Eichel?
They could. Man, they could definitely use a guy like him. If he does go to Vegas, oh boy, watch out NHL.
Oh my God, they're gonna be stupid good if they get Jack Eichel. Period. I think any team that gets Jack Eichel is gonna be ridiculously good. It's a huge upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas could definitely use a first line center, so Jack Eichel would be the guy that they would turn to as far as like trading for. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Good.
Yeah, and then let's see. Former Buffalo Sabres defenseman. Yeah, we're going back those days. 15 years ago, defenseman Jay McKee, right? Who played on the 0506 Sabres, has been hired to be the AHL's affiliate, the Hamilton Bulldogs of the Montreal Canadiens. So he's their new head coach for the Hamilton Bulldogs. So I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got 2 more, and then sorry, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying kudos to him for getting the job.
Oh, absolutely. He's a good developmental coach too. And then we got 3 more pieces of news, and then we're going to move on to football, which I know that's your goatee at the moment, but we're going to get to it. Okay. So let me see here. I got 3 I got to pick from. Yeah. So Sean's Wi-Fi is a little off at the moment. Sean, can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah. I can hear you. Your video was frozen, but I can still hear you. You're good now. You're good now.
Yeah. So, like I said, the thunderstorm and all that stuff. I don't think this would happen if it for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
yeah.
So let me see here. So we have 3 more hockey news, and then we're gonna go right to football. So, what was I gonna show you? Oh yeah. Actually, no, we have 2 more. Sorry. So the first one, the second to last for hockey, is the Carolina Hurricanes, and this came out today, by the way, is the Carolina Hurricanes and PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina, have finalized a new lease agreement through 2028-29, and the agreement was agreed upon in March of 2020, and this includes clauses that prevent both relocation and eliminates rent payments. So they're living rent-free for another decade in Raleigh, North Carolina. So they're going to be playing in a college basketball arena for the next, 10 years.
Wow. I mean, shoot, good for them. Holy crap.
You know how many times people have said that they were concerned the Carolina Hurricanes were going to move? You know how many times they've been brought up to be talking and saying, "Oh, the Canes are bad. They got to move." You know how many times they've been brought up?
I can only guess countless times.
Millions. And people were saying for years that they should move the Hurricanes out of Carolina, and then move them to Quebec City. But the problem is the NHL will never do it, because on the Gary Bettman, the Quebec Nordiques will never come back. And that is a team that everybody wants to see, but Gary Bettman's too stubborn to do it.
Well, it is what it is.
Yep. And the last piece of news regarding hockey, and then we'll move on to football, is yesterday, St. Louis Blues forward Vladimir Tarasenko has requested a trade officially out of St. Louis. And just the same reason why Jack Eichel wants out, because Vladimir Tarasenko is being mistreated by the St. Louis Blues regarding his recent shoulder surgery, about how he's making his recovery. So, and he's also linked out his 4 teams he wishes to be traded to. And those 4 teams are Carolina, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Boston Bruins, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the New York Islanders. And the New York Rangers have also been mentioned as well, in being in discussion for Vladimir Tarasenko.
What are these franchises doing when the players get injured, when they I mean, like when a player needs surgery, like what are they doing? Like they're literally like St. Louis is literally screwing them up. They're screwing themselves over but not by mistreating him. Just like the Sabres mistreated Jack Eichel.
Basically, I mean, it's not the same treatment as Eichel's, but it's kind of like, oh, I got shoulder surgery, but I want to come back. And the doctors keep telling him, no, you got to sit out for an entire year. And so he's basically pissed off that he feels that he's feeling a lot better about his back surgery. And I think he got it in, July? He got this in, I think, February. So he's been 5 months out of hockey already, and he wants to come back. And the Blues are telling him, no, you're going to be going on long-term IR until like December, which is ridiculous. So now he's requesting a trade just so he can get out of that situation so he can play.
I mean, did the doctors tell him how long he would have to wait until they believe he's fully recovered or something like that? Or what?
Well, the team doctors didn't tell him a specific date, but the team told him around Christmas time. So there was a huge dispute on terms of information about information regarding how he's doing with surgery, how he's doing with his programming and stuff like that, and just basically, physical training and stuff like that, physical therapy, just kind of getting himself back up. That's basically what this discussion is about, is basically him wanting to play, and they're just hesitating and basically telling him, you're too badly injured to be playing, despite the fact he's fully healthy and making a full recovery.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what St. Louis is thinking, man. But like I said, they're shooting themselves in the foot. So
yep,
they did it to themselves.
And the teams that he's being linked to are all Stanley Cup contenders. Every single one of them are all Cup contenders. The Golden Knights, the Islanders, the Bruins, and the Hurricanes. Those are 4 Stanley Cup contenders right there. The New York Rangers, I could see end up getting Tarasenko, but I don't see how that's going to work out because they're going to have to give a ransom for him to go there. Same with everybody else. They all have to chip in and give up something valuable. Have you ever heard that term, got to give to get?
Yep, every time.
That's exactly what's going on here. Now, I want to talk about exactly what the Blues would be getting in return. Like, I don't know what the trade value is yet, but if I had to assume, the players that Tarasenko could be playing with is ludicrous. If he were to go to the Islanders, imagine him and Matt Barzal together. Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that would be insane. And Matt Barzal is a hell of a player, too, playing for the Islanders. He has no line mates, but him pairing up with Tarasenko would be dynamite. Vegas. They need wingers, but I feel like they need a center. So Tarasenko wouldn't fit in that situation. And I think they're more invested in getting Jack Eichel than they are getting Vladimir Tarasenko. But I wouldn't count out the Knights. Carolina, they could use some scoring wingers. They got plenty of centers, but I think they need some scoring wingers. It wouldn't be a bad ideal move for Carolina to get Tarasenko because, they have Sebastian Aho, they have Andrei Svechnikov. So they got some talent. And then you're bringing in Tarasenko. I think that would certainly benefit him. And then the last one was, who did I say before? Who did I say before? I said the Islanders. I said the Golden Knights. I said the Hurricanes. Oh, and the Bruins. That's who it was. The Bruins, again, they're another Cup contender. And he'd be playing with Brad Marchand. He'd be playing Patrice Bergeron. He'd be playing with Charlie McAvoy. The Bruins have a lot of talent, but I feel like Boston's window is slowly like this, just pretty much ready to close like that. That's where they're at. They're right here. This is where the Bruins are currently at because their core is getting older, so their window is about to get shut. So I'm thinking they have at least 2 or 3 more years before they have to rebuild. For me, at least. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't see them going to the Bruins. I mean, they're pretty much set with the guys they got. So it'll probably be with the Knights, Islanders, or the Hurricanes. I would think he might go to the Islanders.
I agree with you. And you know what? I'm not even being biased. I could be sounding biased. Because I live here, so I can kind of be a bit biased. But As far as like the Islanders are concerned, I could definitely see it happening, but they have to give up a ransom for him. They have to give up maybe a first rounder next year, a top prospect, maybe a couple of more players on the roster. Because regardless, the Islanders have a lot of work cut out for them if they want to get over the Lightning. Because that to me is their kryptonite. Is they're good enough to make it to the conference finals, but they're not good enough to get past Tampa. So they're going to have to really establish some wingers, especially who could put the puck in the net. And Vladimir Tarasenko, before he got injured last year, he had 5 straight 30-plus goals. Could you imagine that? 5 straight seasons with 30-plus goals.
Wow. Oh boy. Yeah. Islanders gonna do something big to get him.
Absolutely. Let's see how much his contract is worth, because the Islanders, to me, I don't know if they can afford him right now, but I think they can work something out. Let's see. What is his cap situation? Tarasenko. Okay, so Vladdy Tarasenko, he's 29 years old, and he's making $7.5 million until 2023. So Vladdy's got 2 more years with the Blues on his current contract beforehand. So let's see how this goes for him, and let's see where he goes, because I'm interested in what he brings to the table for sure.
Right.
Yeah, so all right, so I think we're ready to move on. It's time to talk some football, because I know this is your bread and butter, basically. Yeah, because I know there's a lot to talk about for football this week, for sure. So where do I begin is the real question. Man. Didn't something come up about Sean McDermott saying that Josh Allen is going to get a contract extension pretty soon?
Yeah, I think he said something similar to that. I saw it on Instagram somewhere. I forgot who posted it. Yeah, I forgot how he said it, but he said something similar to that.
Right.
And I'm just looking at an article from the Buffalo News, where McDermott reacted to Cole Beasley's vaccine stance. So I'm not trying to go political and all, but I just really just found the article, but figured that'd be a little interesting. I didn't even read it yet, so.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, because nobody has opted out this year.
Well, I mean, the pandemic is pretty much nearly over, so I wouldn't see any reason why anybody would opt out.
I agree. So there's been a lot of talk lately about Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know where he was telling this to, but he was apparently asked on a radio show or on a TV show, because keep in mind, during the NBA Finals, Larry Fitzgerald, obviously the former wide receiver of the Arizona Cardinals, and Aaron Rodgers, the current quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, both have minority ownership of each team that's in the finals. Larry Fitzgerald is the minority owner of the Suns, and Aaron Rodgers is the minority owner of the Bucks in the basketball finals. And I think he was on NBA TV, and somebody asked him, he said, if he'll be with the Packers next year. And his answer was pretty much, I don't know, but we'll see.
I don't know either. He's been saying he wanted out of Green Bay, so if he does play next year, who knows where he'll be.
I have a firm belief that he's going to the Broncos.
And can you hear me?
Yeah, my Wi-Fi was a little unstable. Can you repeat that? I apologize.
No, like I was saying, no, it's just unfortunate with Aaron Rodgers, but with everything he went through in Green Bay, But like I said, like I was saying, it is what it is, You got to do what you got to do.
Without a doubt. And I have a feeling he's going to the Broncos.
Yeah, I could definitely see him playing for Denver.
Yeah, at this point, I'm entirely convinced that he's going to go to Denver. I mean, they need a quarterback. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's not their savior. Drew Lock isn't their savior either. So Denver is really keen on a quarterback. And you could blame John Elway's incompetence on that position. And his only saving grace was Peyton Manning. But aside from that, what have the Broncos done among quarterbacks?
I know he's almost. Is he in his 30s? I think he'll almost be 40 soon.
Who, Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock?
No, Aaron Rodgers. If he does go to Denver,
Rodgers is almost in his.
Yeah, they got to think about.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rodgers is almost in his 40s.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about, because they got to think about age too. Who knows how long he'll stay in the NFL? I mean, he's no Tom Brady, so.
Well, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. You mean you can't push him out of the equation? I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, no question. Probably the best quarterback of all time. But I just don't really know. I mean, I'm not really sure what to think of this whole Packers situation with him, because it's like him and the team have been having issues with contracts and stuff like that for the last few months. They've been bickering at each other since maybe the draft. So it's been almost like 3 months since they've been talking about this.
And looks like yeah. What we're saying before you cut off.
What I was saying was, it's like, I feel like the Packers and Aaron Rodgers have been brought up for the last few months. They've been talking like this since the draft. Yeah, since like late April, early May, since they were like this. And the report came out as like, well, I'm only going to stay if you fire the GM, which is probably not going to happen, because the Packers you can't give one player all the power, because this is what some teams do. This is the same situation. Excuse me. This is the same situation that Jack Eichel gave the Sabres. He basically said, if you remember a few years ago, Jack Eichel almost demanded a trade out of Buffalo because they refused to fire Dan Bilesma. And when they heard him say, I'm going to request a trade if he's not out of here, he pretty much gave away all the power to Jack Eichel. And that's why they've abused their situation, is because he's requested a trade and the Sabres have told him enough is enough and you need to fuck off. The same is right here with Aaron Rodgers. If you give Aaron Rodgers all the power in the world, because, again, he's not above the team, let alone anybody. I mean, he's a multi-billionaire. There's no question about that. But it doesn't give him any moral authority to basically make executive decisions, like saying fire the GM, fire the coach, this and that, because he technically already got his way with the Packers firing Mike McCarthy a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, he's still a player, you know. I mean, leave those kinds of decision making to the higher ups.
Without a doubt.
Even though they might sometimes be incompetent.
It's insane, really. Like, I can't stress that enough. And then, all right. You know how you mentioned a while back that you're a New York Guardians fan?
Yes, still am. And yep. Any updates on the XFL?
Yep. Did you hear about that lately?
Right, my bad. Yeah, you cut off when you were about to say it.
Yeah, I apologize, man. I really do. And I apologize for everybody else around me. But yeah, so the XFL and the CFL have cut ties from their deal, and there will be no partnership or merger going forward. And the CFL came out with a statement, quote, "Our talks with the XFL exploring potential for collaboration and innovation have been positive and constructive. While we remain open to finding new ways to work together in the future, we and our XFL counterparts have jointly decided to not pursue any formal arrangements at this time. We at the CFL are now squarely focused on preparing for August 5th, which is a month from now, and the start of the 2021 regular season, which culminated December 12th with playing in the 108th Grey Cup in Hamilton, Ontario. We are looking forward to this year and a bright future for our league.
Oh wow, dang.
Yep.
Dang,
And
dang.
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying that sucks because I was pretty much looking forward to it, but yeah, wow.
Well, not everything works all the same. Oh, and you know how the XFL was campaigning saying, "Oh, we're going to open in spring of 2022."
Yeah.
Well, it's also been reported too that the XFL will start playing in spring of 2023.
Oh, good gosh. Well, so why wait for another year?
Well, let's look back on the first XFL. If you remember, and you're old enough to remember this because you're older than me, when the XFL first came out, the first time they were promoting the WWE. And Vince McMahon rushed everything out. He had no stadium deals, no name affiliations as far as like trademarks and rights. He had no players, no coaches, no nothing. And he just pretty much put it all out of a blender. And he made a deal with NBC, and then it turned into a giant cluster. And then they had to close the league after 1 year. And then in 2020, obviously we had the coronavirus pandemic. So that was pretty much the bottom line for Vince McMahon to sell the XFL to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which is coming up 1 year exactly since Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson bought the XFL. And now he's prepping for 2023 for teams to start getting ready to go. As far as I'm assuming expansion, as far as TV deals, as far as like advertising. I guess it's they don't want to rush it is because basically the point being they don't want to do what they did the first time. And that's my gut feeling on this.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. And plus with the whole pandemic interrupting everything. I can see why they chose to wait until spring 2023.
I mean, it sucks.
Because like you mentioned, they got these time, like you said, they don't want to risk messing up again, you know, and they gotta get these TV deals, stadium deals, all that stuff, and that stuff like that takes time. So yeah, I can see why. I can see now why they're delaying it for 1 more year.
Absolutely. And the last piece of news before we cut off this week's episode, and it's been kind of a cluster, and I'm not saying us two, but I'm saying in terms of the Wi-Fi. The last big piece of news, and this came out on Tuesday, that former first-round pick, New England Patriots wide receiver N'Keal Harry out of Arizona State has requested a trade out of New England, and the asking price is a 5th or a 6th round pick.
Wait, what? What was the asking price? You cut off again.
A 5th and a 6th round pick.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
freaking Wi-Fi going off again. Yeah, I was asking. What year did he get drafted again? Was it last season?
I think it was 2018.
Last year?
I think it was 2018. He got drafted by the Patriots. I know he was drafted like real late. I know that for a fact. So the asking price, just so that you don't get cut off again, was a 5th and a 6th. It's either a 5th or a 6th in the asking price for N'Keal Harry.
Wow. 5th or 6th round pick. He was only with New England for less than 5 years. Must have been something he didn't like in the franchise. Wow. I mean,
yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that could be. I mean, that's my only guess. He saw something within the organization that he didn't like. So that was probably his last straw with them, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Because
well, I was gonna say was the Patriots, and the reason why he's requesting a trade is because he wants more playing time, and the Patriots are not willing to give it to him because he has to compete for other wide receivers. And N'Keal Harry firmly believes that he will not get a fair shot at the receiving job. And to be honest, N'Keal Harry sucks. I've said this for years. And he's always had injury issues. I think he had a foot issue a couple years ago. So it seems like to me like the hoodie has lost his patience on N'Keal Harry. And or I should say N'Keal Harry lost patience on the Patriots. And he's basically said, "Get me the fuck out of here. I want to go somewhere where I feel I can play."
Well, I mean, what's more to say about that? I mean, he feels like it. I mean, he feels like he's not being utilized, but I feel like for a good reason. But if I don't know, if he feels like he'll get playing time somewhere else, then let's see for what a team he wants to get traded to. Maybe they might treat him differently. I don't know.
What do you call it? What team?
I think it comes down to which team.
No, you were gonna say what? I think it's gonna come down to blank, and then I cut you off.
I mean, maybe it might come down to like offensive scheme or something like that, or I don't know. Could be, because I mean, every team's different. So certain players are gonna, either adapt to a different system or not. And I don't know, if he goes to another team and maybe he might fit in their scheme. Maybe he might improve. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to trade him. But the question is, what team could use a wide receiver?
Good question. Definitely not a team from the AFC East.
I have a few ideas, but
yeah, I'm thinking San Francisco. I don't know what receivers they have.
The Niners.
Yeah.
Well, they have Deebo Samuel. They have what was that guy's name? Shit, I had it on top of my head. Oh my god, who the hell is it? Oh, Brandon Ayuk. That's who it is. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. They have George Kittle as a tight end. So they have that. So they might just need another wide receiver. So again, I don't watch a lot of Niners games because obviously I'm more focused on the Bills. But as far as the Niners, I could see N'Keal Harry going to San Francisco. It's very, very possible. Another team I could see going after Harry are the Baltimore Ravens. I could see this as a possibility as well because they've been linked now for like 4 months to get Allen Robinson, and nothing has happened. Because if you remember, Robinson requested a trade to go play for a contender, and Baltimore was going to get him or the Jets were going to get him. I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets got N'Keal Harry either.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I feel like it's going to come down to what team is the most desperate for a wide receiver. So that's my guess.
I think another team, and I forgot to mention one, is another team I could think of that could possibly use another wide receiver, and you could disagree with me, is I think the Raiders could be another team that could possibly look at N'Keal Harry.
I kind of can see it happen. I mean, the Raiders they took out John Brown for one thing.
They have Henry Ruggs, they have John Brown, they have Hunter Renfrow. They got some good players. They got Darren Waller. They got Josh Jacobs. They got Derek Carr. So the Raiders overall on offense is not bad. It's just their offensive line is hot garbage. If not for the last couple of years, they've been trash. But yeah, like I could see the Raiders being in the mix as well. I could definitely see the Raiders be in the mix for N'Keal Harry because they could maybe use him as like a special teams player or as like a fourth string wide receiver or somewhere where he could get some playing time. I don't know. It really comes down to which team is the most welcome to him as far as like playing time because that's what he wants is playing time. And he's clearly not going to get it with the New England Patriots.
No. Yeah, like it's possible it's possible with the Raiders or the Niners or even the Ravens. Yeah. It could be one of those, or maybe like a couple more that I can't think of right now. I can't think of another team that's desperate for a wide receiver right now.
How about the Cardinals?
Yeah. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald just retired, and
Technically,
yeah. So I mean, he's getting up in that age too. So, they do have DeAndre Hopkins though. Who else they got?
Let me think. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They have what the hell's that guy's name? I don't remember the Cardinals wide receivers. I feel like a complete idiot. Oh, freaking shit. What's his name? Freaking Kirk. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. I feel like an idiot. Oh my God.
Let's see if I can look it up real quick.
I agree with you. I'm doing the same thing. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. So Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green. They have AJ Green now too. I totally forgot about AJ Green.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell do the Cardinals have?
Got him. Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk, that's it. Christian Kirk, AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, technically Larry Fitzgerald. So they could probably use another wide receiver if they really wanted it to.
Who knows if he'll even get that trade offer, and if he does, who knows where he'll end up.
Well, like I said, the only thing that the Patriots want from any team in the league this year, as far as trading for Harry, is they only want either a 5th rounder or a 6th rounder, not both.
Right.
Yeah, they just want one or the other. Either way is fine.
Right.
So I don't see. For me, I feel like the Patriots have been drafting pretty poorly in the last couple of years. I mean, Sony Michel's not that great. N'Keal Harry did not pan out. Isaiah Wynn has not panned out. So I feel like every player, even I would say Mac Jones is not going to pan out. I feel like the New England Patriots are heading down a steep decline in terms of scouting, in terms of developing players. I just feel in general that things are just not going their way like they used to be with Brady.
Right. Yeah. It's like they're going. It's like they're going back in time to an era back when they sucked, basically.
Yep. And like I said, nothing lasts forever. And the New England Patriots dynasty is over. They're done. Dead. Gone. Goodbye. Sayonara. Das vidanya.
Thank goodness.
Now it's Buffalo's time to shine. That's the best way I could put it.
Yep.
So hopefully I think we covered everything. At least that's what I think. I think we covered pretty much everything. Is there anything you want to say, Sean, before we wrap up this week's episode?
Yeah, I want to go back to that Sean McDermott his reaction to Cole Beasley's vaccine stuff. I got the article up here from the Buffalo News. I'll just read where he starts speaking. Okay, he says, certainly respect Cole's opinion. McDermott told NFL Total Access. That's something the whole world has dealt with over the last year, really, since the vaccines have become available. Now we're dealing with new decisions that we have to make. I think the best thing we can do is educate ourselves and build awareness. The individuals have to make their own decisions. You have to respect each and every one of the positions out there. And at the end of the day, do what's the best interest for your situation. specifically and your family. So easily sign. And I'm all for it. You know, every player has to make that choice for their own, whether they want to get vaccinated or not. So,
Yeah, and he's a full-grown adult. So, like, you're a full-grown adult, I'm a full-grown adult. We both make our own decisions.
exactly.
So, we both, we both go to work. We both choose to go to work. We both come home. We both relax. We both drink beer or whatever you do. We both play video games. So, there's a lot of decisions that we make on life. Like, I want to get married. Like, you chose to stay, single, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think McDermott, he's a very respected coach for a very good reason, because he at least understands the dignity of his decision. Because not everybody around the country, if not the world, agree with this whole get the vaccine thing or you're out kind of situation. It's more of you just basically have to stick within your own decision. That's the way I look at it. So
Exactly.
yeah. So
I really like the idea of respecting someone else's choice. You know, you don't have to agree with it, but at least respect it. So, yeah, that's what I like.
But the problem is, a lot of people have lacked respect towards other people's decisions, and that's been a big problem the last couple of years. Is people's opinions hurt their feelings, and I'm not to sound political, but they've hurt their feelings, and they get really whippersnappy about it, and it's just ridiculous. So I think everybody should just go back 20 years ago where everybody had their own decision, and they just stuck by it.
Yeah, they forgot the opinions are only subjective. Everybody has one. There ain't you can agree or disagree with them. That's that's my thoughts on opinions. So
Absolutely. And just like I said, everybody has their own opinion, they're entitled to it, and that's the way it should be.
exactly.
Is there anything you want to say before we wrap it up tonight, Sean?
No. Well, actually, yeah, I do.
What do you got?
So my plan is to get back into streaming every weekend, and I'm hoping to get back into it this weekend. Twitch.tv/Mr. Bubba Matt Gaming. I'll be playing a good old Tom Clancy classic, Splinter Cell Conviction. I posted I posted it on Instagram, so you can follow me there at Mr. Bubba Matt, of course. So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I have a secret project on the way too. So I'm not going to reveal it until I officially have a decision on it. But Sean may know it, but I'm not going to say it because, again, it's a secret project. And I'll keep you guys posted on that. So with that being said, I'm your host, Buffalo Bob. It's Mr. Bubba Matt over there. He is frozen. Yeah, let's try it again. Yeah. So I'm Buffalo Bob.
Mr. Bubba Matt.
And we're signing out. And have a good night, guys.